It's all right here in black and white. You can't just ignore the CC&Rs because you think you're special. This neighborhood has standards.
Cold air hit my face when I opened the front door, and for a second the flashing glare made me think police were outside. It was only the street lamp bouncing off plastic pages taped across my driveway. The smell of wet asphalt mixed with my burnt coffee as I walked closer. In the middle, a laminated sign in thick marker said "Rules are rules." Around it, sheet after sheet of tiny text listed sins. Parked truck visible from street. Trash can out at 7:59 p.m. Garden hose left uncoiled. I counted with shaking fingers. There were 63 pages, all stamped with our HOA logo and signed by the president, Karen Miller. My driveway looked like a crime scene made of office supplies that I peeled off the top page, hands numb from the cold and the tape. It threatened fines of $500 a day if I didn't comply by Friday. At the bottom, in red ink, she had written "Rules are rules," like a dare. In that moment, one sentence flashed in my head like a headline. Karen posted "Rules are rules" on my driveway with 63 pages. Too bad I am the city attorney. To her, I was the quiet guy with the blue truck at the end of the cul-de-sac. She had no idea that taping junk to my driveway was only the first bad move she had made. I still tried the nice way. That evening, I walked to the community room. It smelled like lemon cleaner and old coffee. Karen sat behind a folding table with two board members in matching polos. I set the stack down and, as calmly as I could, said taping notices on my driveway was not okay and half these rules didn't exist in our recorded covenants. She didn't even pretend to read. "You signed," she said, waving her hand. "Rules are rules." When I asked for an appeal, she laughed and told me I could pay or move. The neighbors in metal chairs went silent. I walked home under orange streetlights, anger cooling into something sharp. That was my line in the sand. At my kitchen table, with cold pizza on a plate, I opened my laptop. City code, state law, HOA filings, complaint records. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. That simple law line sat in the back of my mind. By midnight, my legal pad was full. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Timeline item 2, May 3rd, 2024 at 9:00 p.m. noise complaint on a silent house. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. The more I checked, the worse it got. Karen had filed at least 12 bogus complaints on different neighbors, always using HOA letterhead. Early Monday, I filed an ethics concern with the city and a public records request for every call she had made in 2 years. 2 weeks later, in a quiet room at City Hall, the clerk slid a thick folder toward me. The file landed with 63 pages, almost the same weight as the stack from my driveway. The next HOA meeting was a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., and this time the room was packed. People whispered. Phones were already in their hands. Karen started with her usual speech about protecting property values. I raised my hand and spoke as a homeowner. I explained that fines need due process, that the board has to vote, and that nobody has the right to tape threats on private driveways. I set my binder and the city folder on the table. "Receipts," I said, and a few people laughed. I read short lines from the logs. Officers writing no violation. Caller appears to be using HOA to harass. Neighbors started filming. A city code inspector who had been standing at the back stepped forward and introduced himself. Authority flipped in seconds. He explained that, after my report, the HOA was under review, that all pending fines were frozen, and that misuse of rules could lead to penalties and removal from the board. A police sergeant beside him added that filing made-up complaints could turn into something more serious. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted, he said in a flat voice, and everyone heard it. The fallout came fast. Within a month, after an emergency vote where about 3/4 of the homeowners showed up, Karen resigned for personal reasons, and new board members took over. The association mailed letters canceling every bogus fine, promising clearer, lawful rules, and paying a few $1,000s in city penalties. They agreed to training on what an HOA can and cannot do, and I helped teach it. My driveway went back to being just a driveway. No laminated threats. No plastic pages flapping in the wind. Kids draw chalk rockets and hopscotch squares on the concrete now. My next-door neighbor leaves extra cookies on my porch instead of nervous texts. The air smells like burgers and cut grass on warm evenings, and an older neighbor hugged me, and said she finally felt safe in her own home again. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.